Okay, and in those current asset also, what is the problem? We don't have cash element in the current assets. Okay, so my company might have liquidity problems. My company might have liquidity problems. Now, can we try to relate the current ratio with inventory days and receivable days? Can you try to relate current ratio with inventory days and receivable days, guys?
So we can say that in the the inventory levels are very high, so there are chances of obsolete inventory.
Correct. Inventory days is very high. The days in which your inventory will be converted into cash. Okay, inventory will be converted into sales, not cash. Huh? Inventory can be converted to sales is 53 days, and then the days in which sales are converted into cash is 48 days. So can I say I have a total of 53 plus 48? So to convert my stock to cash, I need around 101 days. To convert my stock to cash, I need around 101 days. But my payable period is only what? My payable period is only 68.31 days, right? Okay. So I will get my cash. I'll get cash from my inventory in 101 days, but I have only 68 days to pay off my liability. Okay. And in that, what is going to happen? I don't have enough cash in hand in my company because current ratio does not consist of cash. So what would my company need to do? My company will need to borrow from outside. Correct. My cash is going to come after 101 days, and I have to pay off my liabilities in 68 days. Okay, so company will need to borrow from outside, since it doesn't even have any cash in hand, since it doesn't even have any cash in hand. Correct. Okay, so let us just open up the question. That was the question one. So that's why can you see bank overdraft in the non-current liabilities? Yes, that is why we are looking at bank overdraft in the non-current liabilities. Since my cash will be received after 101 days, okay, and my payable is only within 68 days. I need to arrange cash from outside. Why I need to arrange cash from outside? Because my current asset does not have any cash in hand. Okay, and that is why we can see bank overdraft in the liability. So, try to relate one ratio with the other. Huh? Try to relate the ratios with the days. In case of liquidity ratios, always remember, you can always try to relate current ratio and quick ratio with the inventory days, receivable days, and the payable days. Is this clear to everyone? How we related that? Okay. Now, quick ratio is also lower. Quick ratio is also lower. What does this mean? Quick ratio is lower, meaning what? Alright, someone tell me. As compared to the standard, the quick ratio is lower.
Because the
Yes,
inventory levels are very high, it takes a major proportion of the quick assets. That's why.
correct. Again, we can relate that to inventory days. Okay, since inventory days is very higher. Okay, we have slow moving inventory. And also you can see the exceptional item. In the exceptional item, note number 2, what they have said, the exceptional item relates to losses on the sale of a batch of computers. Okay, so sale of a batch has become worthless. Okay, if the batch of the computers has become worthless, means that inventory is not going to convert into sales. So we can also say the inventory also has some element of non-moving items. The inventory has some element of non-moving items. Correct. And because of that, what is happening? Our quick ratio is also going to be affected. Our quick ratio is also going to be affected. Okay, so be sure that you use all the information in the notes. Huh? Guys, be sure that you use all the information in the notes. Yesterday when I explained about net asset turnover ratio, that time what I did, I tried to link this depreciation to our net asset. That the net asset turnover is high means what? Company is efficiently using its asset, but also depreciation is high means what? Company is using the asset so much that your asset are going to be completely depreciated and we need to purchase new assets. Okay, now here again, in case of inventory also. Okay, so doubt is quick ratio doesn't include inventory, then how can we link it with the inventory? See, because other than inventory, we are seeing, other than, if inventory was there, why we are linking inventory with quick ratio, understand? Huh? If inventory was there, we were able to pay off our liabilities, right? If the inventory was there, we are able to pay off our liabilities. If inventories are not there, we are not able to pay off our liability. Okay, means what? Means this is what we are taking over here. Na? The sale of batch which became worthless, which could not be sold. So the inventory could not be sold. Correct. So if we take out the inventory part, it also takes out our sale of computers. Okay. If computers are not sold, means what? My receivables, it does not get into converted into sales, and my receivables are only 0.64. Okay. With the help of inventory, we are assuming that the total sales will go to 1.19. Okay. But if we ignore the inventory, the total sales are only accounting to 0.64. Understood how we linked inventory to the quick ratio? Inventory does not come in the current asset. Okay. But that's the meaning of that, na? That with inclusion of inventory, the total sales were supposed to be 1.19. Okay, just think of it in lakhs, na? Just think of this in lakhs. With the inventory, the total sales would have been 1.19 lakhs. But if we take out the inventory, the total sales are only 64,000. Okay, now in that inventory, what they have said, that exceptional items relate to sale of batch of computers, which has become worthless. They have said sale of batch of computers. Huh? Our company is a computer selling company. In that, inventory has become worthless. So it is not going to be converted into sales. Okay. So once you explain that, you don't need to explain inventory days again. Huh? Once you have explained that, you don't need to explain inventory days again. Why inventory into cash has become a problem. Converting inventory into cash is taking too many days. Okay, next. Receivable days is higher. So are the customers happy or not? Receivable days are higher. So will my customers be happy? Yes, I am giving more credit period than the industry. Yes, what happens, Smita? Any doubt?
So they'll be happy about it.
They will be happy, correct? So in standard industry, okay, generally companies give 45 days to the customers to return the payment, but my customers are taking 48 days. I am giving my customers 48 days on an average. Okay, so my customers will be happy, but it can affect the liquidity of the company. Okay, it can affect the liquidity, but liquidity will not be affected to a very great extent, because anyways the other companies are giving 45, I am just giving 3 days extra. If this was, let us say, if this was instead of 48, if this was 68, means what? My customers will be even more happier, but then I will have major liquidity problem. My money will be stuck outside. Okay. Yes. So as compared to the standard, this is okay. This is okay. A little bit here and there is okay. Okay. So there is no significant change in receivable days. Okay. But still, company has a higher receivable period. Company should try to bring it down a little bit by giving discount to the customers. That we can write as a note. Okay. Next. Payable period. Generally, in the industry, the payable period is 55 days, but my company takes 68 days to pay. So what is this? Is it good or bad? It's bad for the company, correct? Because company's reputation will be affected. Okay, the people who are going to give us goods on credit, our suppliers, will think that this company takes too much of time as compared to the standard. Other companies take only 50 days to pay off the liability, whereas this company is taking 68 days to pay off the liability. Correct? So from our liquidation point of view, this is good for the company. Okay, but overall, we are not just going to see about liquidation, right? We are going to see that as compared to the standards, this is too high, and suppliers will think twice before giving us goods on credit. So we don't want to affect our reputation, so we'll try to reduce this period. Again, if you try to reduce this period, what will happen? You'll have to take more bank overdraft, or you'll have to arrange for more cash. Okay, so reducing the payable period is not going to be that easy. Reducing the payable period is not going to be that easy. Okay, so we want the payable period to reduce, but for that we'll need to go for extra source of finance. Okay, we'll have to go for extra source of finance. Yes, it will affect the credit worthiness of the company. You can say that it affects the credit worthiness of the company. Okay. Okay, next. Debt equity ratio. So no problem till point number 9, na guys. No problem till point number 9. Okay, next. So debt equity, debt upon equity in the this thing in this standard industry, it is 0.4, and here it is 0.89, almost 0.9. We can say it is 0.9, correct? So is it good or bad for the company?
It's bad.
Why it is bad for the company?
Because the company has more debts.
Correct. Because see, the ratio is debt upon equity, right? When will the ratio increase? If numerator increase, correct? Debt of equity, let us just say this is 2 and this is 4, right? Instead of 0.4, 0.8, if let us say this was 2, this was 4. Okay, means what is happening over here? Here it was, if debt was, let us say 8, correct, and equity was 4, this would come out to be 2. And if here debt was 16 and equity was 4, this would come out to be 4. Okay, means what is happening? Numerator is greater, means debt is greater. If debt is greater, means what? Company has financial risk. If debt equity ratio is more, debt is more. Okay, it has two implications. Now we cannot say necessarily it is bad. Okay, so we should not say that it is good or it is bad. We should say company has a higher debt as compared to the standard industry. Now it will have two implications. First implication is what? That company will have a greater financial risk. Higher the debt, higher is the financial commitment. So financial risk is higher. Okay. And second implication is what? Company's cost of capital will start to reduce. The more and more debt you have in the company, the cost of capital starts to reduce. Why? You can write down. There are 2-3 reasons why debt, if more debt is there, the cost is cheaper. One is that debt always has the tax benefit. Debts can sometimes have subsidy, but in this case we will not have subsidy because we are a computer manufacturing company, correct? So we will not have subsidy. So don't write the point of subsidy over here. Okay, so you can write that debt is debt has the tax benefit. Okay, and debt is cheaper in the long run because debt does not have growth rate. Okay, so from cost point of view, what is happening? Having more of debt will reduce the overall cost of capital for the company. But at the same time, having more of debt means what? Company is having more financial risk. Company is having more financial risk. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next thing. What they have said, dividend yield ratio and dividend coverage ratio. Okay. So now pay attention. You have to see them both. You have to see both of them together. Simultaneously, you have to see them. Okay. So dividend yield ratio means what? How much dividend company is paying out of the market price per share. So standard, it is paying 6%, but our company is paying 2.5%. Okay. So are our shareholders happy or not? Are our shareholders going to be happy?
No, sir.
No, correct. Because why? Others are paying 6% on their market value. Correct. Others are paying 6% on their market value, but my company is only paying out 2.5% on the market value. So in the long run, this is not good for the company. See, my company's main objective is not profit maximization. My company's main objective is not profit maximization. What is my company's main objective? Anyone?
Shareholders' wealth.
Correct. Wealth maximization. My company's objective is wealth maximization, because we are assuming that company will continue for going concern for the long term till perpetuity. Okay. So if your company is going for a long run, okay, till perpetuity, profit maximization is never the objective. See, if you pay less dividend, profits are more. Correct. If you are paying less dividend, if you are paying only 2.5% of the market value, your in hand profits will start to increase, but your shareholders will be unhappy. If the shareholders are unhappy, they will not invest in your company in the next years. Okay. If they don't invest in your company, you will have to go out and look for you have to go out and look for other sources of finance. Okay. And then your cost of capital will start to increase. On the other hand, if you go for wealth maximization, your profits in the current year will reduce, but you will get more and more shareholders in the next years. If you get more and more shareholders, you get more and more capital. If you get more capital, your company expands. If your company expands, automatically you go for more profits. Okay. So in the long run, we should always see that what is our dividend yield ratio. Okay. How much dividend we are going to pay to our shareholders. So companies objective is wealth maximization, so we should try to increase the dividend yield ratio. Correct. So in this case, in this question, we should say we should try to increase the dividend, but now see what is the problem. Can we increase the dividend? Can we increase the dividend? See the dividend coverage ratio and tell me. Out of a PAT of 96, right? Out of a PAT of 96, we have already paid dividend of 90,000. Out of profits of 96,000, we have already paid dividend of 90,000. Okay. So already we are paying very high dividend. Okay. But as compared to market value, that dividend is kind of low. Okay. So that is the problem with this company. Okay. Company should increase the dividend. Company should increase the dividend, but company does not have enough profits to increase the dividend in this year. Okay. But you can also write, however, the PAT of 96,000 is after deducting the exceptional items. Correct. If exceptional item was not there, this PAT would have been more. If this PAT would have been more, we could have paid more dividend. If we could have paid more dividend, means what? My dividend yield ratio would have increased. See how I tried to link dividend yield ratio and dividend coverage ratio. Is this understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you want to, whatever are similar ratios now, you want to try to link these ratio with each other. Okay. Don't give analysis for one single ratio. So out of the analysis of dividend yield, what was the analysis? That analysis that the company should pay more dividend. Okay. But due to dividend coverage ratio, we knew that company will not be able to pay more dividend since its PAT is already 90, and out of that 96 PAT, we are already paying 90,000 of dividend. Okay. So we don't want that to happen. So next year, we'll just hope that there is no exceptional item so that our PAT will be more. If our PAT is more, we can pay more dividends. If we pay more dividends, our dividend yield ratio will start to increase. The shareholders will be happy. Okay. And if shareholders are happy, company can go for wealth maximization. Okay. Clear. So now, what is the overall analysis for the company? So that is the analysis for each ratio we have given. What is the overall analysis for the company? You will have to give a summarized analysis. Okay. We can see that return on capital employed is greater. Okay. Profitability is also okay. But the problem is in the long run, company is starting to deplete its asset. Company is starting to depreciate its asset, and company is not able to pay higher dividend yield ratio. Correct. And company's debt is also higher, so company has a financial risk. So from long term point of view, okay, the company might be in serious problem if it does not take enough efforts. Right? That is the overall analysis for the company. Always try to give the analysis from short-term point of view as well as long-term point of view. So in the short-term point of view, the return on capital employed is higher, okay, and your profitability ratios are also okay. They are not high, but they are okay. Okay, so company can survive in the short run, but in the long run, company might face the problem because of because of higher debt, okay, then because of lower dividend, and companies starting to quickly deplete its assets. Correct. So in the future, company might have a problem. Okay, so there is a doubt. Can be there a situation where dividend coverage is low but dividend yield is high? Yes, yes, there can be a situation. Okay, so even if dividend coverage is low, you can still have what? You can still have higher dividend yield ratio. So, for example, if there was no exceptional item, and let us say my PAT was around 190. Okay, so now instead of paying 90 dividend, what I'll try to do, I'll try to pay more dividend. I'll try to pay 125 dividend. If I pay 125,000 dividend, this dividend paid will be higher now. This will be 125,000. Okay, so my DPS will start to become high. If my DPS gets higher, my dividend yield ratio will also start to get higher. Okay, so higher dividend, yes, higher dividend ratio is always good to the company. Higher dividend yield ratio is always good to the company. Okay, because in that the shareholders wealth will start to maximize. Okay, so any other doubt in this question, guys? See what all you have missed in your ratio analysis, what all you have missed. You can write that. And is there anything you guys have written that we have not discussed? You can tell me that also. We can discuss that also. Your part of analysis. Anything anyone has written other than what we have discussed, you can tell me that also. Okay. I don't think there is anything else. So always remember, try to relate current ratio and quick ratio with the days. Okay. And try to relate your dividend yield with the dividend coverage, and try to relate your net assets with the depreciation. Okay. So always you can relate them with each other. Try to relate the GP with the NP. So you can talk about operating costs. If you try to relate GP with NP, you can try to relate the operating cost. Okay. Yes. So now this is done. Anyone has any doubt till here? Guys, anyone has any doubt till here? Okay. Silence amounts to acceptance. So I'll move further. Let us go on to the next question. So in your section C, if ratio analysis will be for, let us say, 10 to 12 marks, you can expect such a kind of a question now. Okay, for 10 to 12 marks, you can expect this kind of question. But if the entire ratio analysis for 20 marks, okay, then you will expect a question of consolidated balance sheet plus ratio analysis. So you don't have to prepare a consolidated balance sheet. They will prepare a consolidated balance sheet and give it to you. Okay, but you will have to explain with the help of consolidation. Okay, you have to explain with the from the point of view of parent company as well as from the point of view of subsidiary company. Okay, and then you have to write that analysis. So we'll take that we'll take one of that question also. That consolidated balance sheet is given, and now you have to give the analysis from the parent company's point of view. Okay. Let us start then. Everyone has this PDF I have sent yesterday. Question number 2. Question number 2. let us first understand the question. While reading the question only, you have to pay attention, that what is there in the assets, okay, what is there in notes. As I said before, whatever is said in the notes, you need to take that into your analysis. Okay, whatever is asked or mentioned in the notes, you have to take that into your analysis. Now in this analysis, as you can see, there are only how many? 5 ratios given: GP margin, operating profit margin, ROC, inventory turnover period, and receivables collection period. Only 5 ratios they have given. So ratio calculation is lower, but analysis part will be higher. Okay. So let us say if this were for 20 marks, only 5 marks for ratio calculation and 15 marks for ratio analysis. Okay. So you need to be very careful with this kind of question. Let us read. The Pure Group operates in the farming industry and has operated a number of 100% owned subsidiary for many years. Its financial statements for the last 2 years are shown below. So they have given 2012 and 2013. They have not given standard industry ratio and companies ratio. They have given the same companies ratio. Okay, from last year and from this year. Okay, so it is not an inter-firm comparison, it is an intra-firm comparison within the company. The comparison is within the company between 2 years. Okay. So consolidated P&L, they have given revenue, cost of sales, okay, GP, distribution cost, administrative expenses. Therefore, we have profit from operations. Now, guys, here only you can tell me, profit from operations, are they increasing or are they decreasing?
So decreasing.
So we need to find out why profit from operations are decreasing. We need to find out why profit from operations are decreasing, and we can make a note of that. Investment income, finance cost is there 120. It was not there before. Finance cost was not there before. Now finance cost has come, means can I say there is more of debt now?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Okay. Profit before tax, income tax expenses, profit for the year is so and so. And shareholders of Pure 1580 and non-controlling interest is negative. Guys, pay attention. Generally, when we distribute profit, what we get, NCI also we get positive, and shareholding of the parent also we get positive. Na? If you remember our consolidated P&L account. Okay. So what happens is that, so what does this mean now? What does this mean? What has happened?
So there were a lot of post-acquisition losses.
Correct. Either one scenario can be there were a lot of post-acquisition losses was the first scenario, or the second scenario is the parent company has acquired a loss-making company. The parent company has acquired a loss-making company. That can also be another scenario. Okay. So correct, company owes amount from NCI, right? So we are not going to pay to NCI. In fact, we are receivable from NCI. We are receivable 800 from NCI. Okay. So next, consolidated financial statement. We'll see current assets, inventories 4570, 6500, trade receivables 15600 and 17,000. Bank, there is significant change in cash in bank, right? From 6,000 to 610, there is significant change in cash in bank. So we'll have to make analysis why there is so much change in cash in bank. Okay, why the cash position has significantly changed from the last year. Okay, next, share capital 6,000 and 25,000. What does it mean? 6,000 and 25,000. What does this mean?
They issued a lot of new shares.
We have issued a lot of new shares. We have issued a lot of new shares. Correct. So we have to see how these shares are issued. Okay, next. Retained earnings is also okay, no problem. Non-controlling interest is 510, that is also okay. And loan is 20,000. This is a new loan of 20,000. That's why the finance cost has increased so much. That's why the finance cost has increased so much. Okay, next. Now let us see the adjustment. This adjustment will help us more in the analysis. Adjustment will help us more in the analysis. Pure is the parent company. Pure has become increasingly worried about two major areas in its business environment. Firstly, there are concerns that reliance on the large supermarket is putting pressure on the cash flow as the supermarket demands extended payment terms. And secondly, consistent increases in fuel prices mean that delivering the produce nationally is becoming extremely expensive. So let us focus on the first one. There are concerns that reliance on large supermarkets is putting pressure on the cash flow as the supermarkets demand extended payment terms. Means what?
Receivable days increase.
Okay, receivable days have increased, and also it can also mean payable days might decrease. Okay, because we can supply to them also and we can purchase from them also, and these supermarkets are putting pressure on the cash flow. That's why my cash is getting affected. That can be one of the reasons why my cash flow is getting affected. Correct? Because if receivable period was decreased, it would have shown positive effect on the cash flow. Okay, but since they are asking for extended payment terms, means what? Means we are giving them more and more credit period. If we are giving them more credit period, there will be negative impact on my cash flow. So one of the reasons for cash flow to decrease, we have noticed that. Okay, now secondly, in the same paragraph, secondly, the consistent increase in fuel prices means that delivering the produce nationally is becoming extremely expensive. What does that mean? Look at the P&L and tell me. Look at the P&L and tell me how it will affect.
So cost of sales is increasing drastically.
Cost of?
Cost of sales.
No,
So
not
distribution
cost.
cost.
Sir, distribution cost.
Distribution cost.
Yes, sir,
Because
distribution cost.
delivering the produce means what? It is between selling and distribution, correct? So distribution cost will start to increase. Okay, distribution cost will start to increase, but we cannot see significant increase in distribution cost, correct? As compared to the increase in sales, we cannot see significant increase in distribution cost. But since this point has been mentioned, we'll just write it down that distribution cost might increase in the future. Okay, next. Okay, to manage this, they have given to manage this, Pure has acquired 80% of Howard on 1st October 2012. Okay, so in this year, in the current year only, we have acquired the subsidiary company. So Pure has acquired 80% of Howard on 1st October 2012. This was the first time Pure had acquired a subsidiary without owning 100%. All in the first paragraph, what they have given, all the subsidiaries are 100% owned. All the subsidiaries are 100% owned, but here we are only owning 80% of the subsidiary. Okay, now Howard operates 2 luxury hotels, and Pure acquired Howard with a view to diversify and to provide a long-term solution to the cash flow problems. Now guys, tell me, Pure company, the parent company, is it in hotel industry?
No, sir, farming.
It is in farming industry. And now after we acquire the Howard company, Howard is in the hotel industry, correct? So now there is diversification. Okay, now think about it. They have said to manage the first point, to manage the first adjustment, what parent company has done? Parent company has acquired a hotel industry. How can it manage the first point? What is the problem in the first point, and how can it be managed if I diversify and acquire hotel? Think about it. They have given the hint over here to manage the first point, to manage this. So the problem was in the first point that First problem was what? There was pressure on cash flows and there were extended payment terms. In farming industry, I have to give goods on credit, correct? And then customers will pay me at a very later date. But now if I acquire hotel industry, tell me receivable collection period, will it increase or decrease?
Sir, decreased.
Correct, because it is a service industry. In service industry, receivable collection period is very less as compared to manufacturing or any distribution industry. That is the reason why they are acquiring subsidiary which is in hotel industry. See, that's what they have said now. Pure acquired Howard with a view to diversify and to provide a long-term solution to their cash flow problem. And in the first point, they had told us why the cash flow problem was there. Cash flow problem was there because of what? Extended payment terms. Okay. And to overcome this, what they have done? They have diversified and acquired hotel industry so that it is a solution to the cash flow problem. So in this entire second point, they had given the hint. They had given the hint that how come we can manage our cash flow problems. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So see, in the last problem, the main focus was on ratio. Okay. And analysis was the secondary part. But here analysis will be the important part. We have not even calculated gross profit margin, operating profit margin. We have not even calculated that right now. But still we are getting so much of points to understand our P&L and understand our balance sheet. Okay. Yes. Next. Now, third point. The Pure Group raised finance for acquisition from a number of sources. Part of this came from the disposal of 11 million held in the investment, making 4.5 million gain on disposal, which is included within administrative expenses. Okay, what is this? We have disposed of 11 million held in investment. We have disposed of 11, what I'm saying, 11. It is $11 million held in sale, okay, held in investment. And out of that, we have got a profit of 4.5 million, which is included within admin expenses. Means what?
So this is a one-off expense.
Perfect. This, first of all, this is a one-off expenditure. Okay. Now pay attention. Huh? Look at the admin expenses. As compared to distribution cost, can I say admin expenses is significantly increased?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Distribution cost 19,300 ka 21,200 ho gaya, but admin cost was 15,400 and it is now 25,600. Okay. So admin cost is already increased. Now pay attention. Huh? If this one-off item was not there, can I say admin expenses would have been even more? Now again, like the last problem. Now try to understand this. Again, there's a problem of exceptional item. I think many of you had confusion of exceptional item. So I'll repeat. But now the exceptional item is not a loss. Now that exceptional item is a profit. Okay. So admin expenses, right? The admin expenses are how much? Admin expenses are 25,600, and it is a cost, right? It is a cost. Okay. Then your gain on disposal is included. So that is a profit. How much was the gain on disposal? 4.5 million. So this is in thousand. So can I say 4,500? 4,500. Okay. So now tell me what should be the admin expenses if we exclude exceptional item? Let us see if you are getting the exceptional item wala adjustment this time. What should be the admin expenses if you are excluding exceptional item? It is a profit and it is a cost, right? So if this profit was not there, cost would increase even more. Cost would increase even more, right? So now, if we ignore the exceptional item, we always ignore the exceptional item, right? So now also, if we ignore the exceptional item, admin expenses would have been 30,100 as compared to 15,400. So can I say admin expenses have almost doubled? Admin expenses have almost doubled, correct? Now understood exceptional item. This time it is a income. Last example it was a loss. This example it is an income. Okay, next. So now what they have said in the third adjustment, the Pure Group raised finance for the acquisition from a number of sources. So that's why your loan is looking at 20,000. That's why we can see the loan of 20,000. Okay. Part of this came from $4.5 million, which is included in admin expense. Now, adjustment number 4. Howard opened a third hotel in March 2013. So it is between these 2 years. March 2013 is between these 2 years because our end date is 30th September 2013. In the last paragraph they have given end date is 30th September 2013 and acquisition was on 1st October 2012. Correct? So in between, Howard has opened a third hotel in March 2013. It is the largest yet hotel of Howard. But after poor initial reviews, Howard appointed a new marketing director in May 2013. Following an extensive marketing campaign, online feedback had improved significantly. What does this mean? Yes, tell me. What does it mean? In March, they had started the new hotel in March, okay, and books of accounts were closed in September, okay. But in March, they had got poor initial reviews. If you have poor initial reviews, means what? In a hotel industry, okay, the doubt is this the reason why admin expenses are high? We'll see that. Okay. So if I open the hotel and I get poor initial reviews, then my customers, I will not get enough customers. If I don't get enough customers, I will not get enough cash flow. And that's why here again, that is the second reason why cash flows are lower. Why the cash flows are lower. Okay. Now, in addition to that, what they have done, Howard appointed a new marketing director. If they have appointed a new marketing director, that will be what? That will be increase in the cost. That will give increase in the cost. Okay. Following an extensive market campaign, online feedback had improved significantly. So now that feedback has improved significantly, in the next coming years, I will get a better cash flow. In the next coming years, I'll have a better cash flow. Understood the fourth point? Okay, next. The following ratios have been calculated for the year end 30th September 2012: GP, operating return on capital employed, inventory turnover, and receivable collection period. So now that we know the overall position of the company, now we can calculate the ratios and we can give a proper analysis. Guys, see, this becomes a bit easier because most of the reasons you can find in the adjustments itself. Most of the reasons for change in ratios you can find in the adjustment itself. Okay, so we'll try to answer that with help of these adjustments. Everyone understood the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us start. Or you want to try it at home, analysis or consolidation? Will do it together.
Yes, sir, we'll do together.
Okay, it's consolidation problem, so we'll do it together. Okay, so analysis of consolidated balance sheet and analysis of consolidated financial statement. Guys, now pay attention. You are not just going to think from one company's point of view, you are also going to think from consolidated group's point of view. Okay, so anything that affects my consolidation adjustments, that also I need to put it over here. Okay, that also I need to put it over here. So first First, let us give the overview. Okay, let us give the overview of the company. Pure company was engaged in the business of farming, correct? And recently it has you do the report wala format, that report to the management, subject analysis of consolidated financial statement that you guys do. Pure company was engaged in the business of farming, and recently it has decided to diversify and acquire a company in which industry? Hotel industry. In hotel industry. Company in the hotel industry. Howard. Okay. The parent company has done so. To overcome its problem of cash flow. Okay. The parent company has done so to overcome its problem of cash flow. Correct. So write down the problem. What was the problem? That the company were giving. They have given. Firstly, there are concerns that the reliance on large supermarkets is putting pressure on cash flow as supermarkets demand extended payment terms. Okay. So write down. Their language only will use. As a supermarket expected, what they said, extended payment terms. Okay. The receivable collection period must be high. Correct. Receivable collection period must be high, and due to which the company was having liquidity problems. Okay. So after acquisition of Howard, Pure company is expecting this problem to be resolved since Howard is in service sector. Where receivable collection period is generally, we are writing generally because we don't know right now the position of the company. Okay, where the receivable collection period is generally lower than manufacturing company. Okay, so that was the purpose of the acquisition. So we have given the analysis why the parent company has acquired the subsidiary company. This is important, guys. You cannot just give analysis of the ratios. You have to give analysis for why acquisition has been made in your consolidated analysis of financial statement. Okay. Yes. Okay, let us start the ratios one by one, and then after calculating the ratios we can again come back to the analysis. So what is the first ratio they have given? Gross profit margin ratio 59.1%. So in 2012 it was 59.1%. So let us see after acquisition of Howard, has it improved or not? Okay. So particulars 2013 and 2012. Okay. So the first ratio is my GP margin 59.1%. GP margin 59.1%. Okay. Here calculate the GP margin and tell me how much it is. I'm not going to calculate in this question. You guys calculate and tell me. Yes, कितना है ratio?
51.06%.
Okay, let us check. So that will be GP divided by revenue into 100. GP by sales into 100. So GP है 48,000. GP is 48,000. Sales is 94,000. So 48,000 divided by 94,000 into 100 into 100. Okay. So 51%, that is 51 point so and so percent. So the GP margin has reduced from 59%, it has reduced to 51%. Okay. We are expecting better cash flows. Let us see. First, let us calculate other profit margins also. Operating profit margin will be what? Operating profit divided by sales. So operating profit margin is 8.5%. Operating profit margin, this is 8.5% in the last year. So here it will be operating profits divided by sales. I will just write operating profit divided by sales into 100. तो operating profit कितना है? किधर गया रे? Profit from operations 1200. Profit from operations 1200. So that will be 1200 divided by 94,000 into 100 into 100. Okay. 1.27%. Significantly low. 1.27% significantly low. Okay. So the doubt is, why are we not taking PBIT, that is 1080 plus 120? Where is your PBIT? Let me just check. Profit before tax is 1080 and finance cost is 120. So you are saying that why we are not taking that, na? Is the same thing, na? Is the same thing. Okay. Yes. Next. So that we have taken significantly low, and we also know the reason behind it. Admin cost has increased, right? We also know the reason behind that admin cost is increased. Okay. Now the third one. Return on capital employed. Return on capital employed. ROCE is how much? Last year it was 7.4%, 7.4%, correct? And this year will be what? Yes.
Sir, this year there is no investment income. That's why it came same. Suppose if there was an investment income, which amount will it take? Profit from operations or PBIT?
Then we'll have to calculate profit from operation with the formula of PBIT.
Okay, so then 1080 plus 120.
Correct. 1080 plus 120.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. So ROC is what your, again, PBIT, profit from operation. So PBIT divided by capital employed. How much is the capital employed? They have given equity share capital 25,000, retained earnings 73,500, NCI 510, and loan is 20,000. Okay. So what else should we take, guys? Should we take this 510 in capital employed?
No, sir.
Why not?
Sir, it is the income of a subsidiary.
So can't I take the income of the subsidiary and add it to the capital of the parent company?
No, sir. It is a part of subsidiary. We are calculating for parent company.
but right now it is the capital that we can have in our company, right? Even though it is the payable to subsidiary company, right? It is payable to NCI, but right now we have that money, na? So until the point that we have to pay to the subsidiary, we own this capital. It is part of the capital. That's why we'll take that in our capital employed. Okay, so even NCI will become part of your equity and reserves. Okay, so we'll take all of these: equity, retained earnings, NCI, and non-current liabilities. So that is loan. Understood why we are taking NCI?
So always we have to take NCI in capital.
Always we'll have to take NCI in case of consolidated financial statements. Yes. See, it is not associate ka income. This is not associate ka payment. It is not investment in associate 510. I have acquired 80% of subsidiary company. Okay. So when the liquidation arises, that time I'll have to see what to do with this 510. But right now it is the capital that I can show in my books of accounts. So if I'm showing that in the books of accounts as part of equity, I'll take it under my capital employed. Okay. So this will be PBIT is 1200. I'll write over here PBIT is 1200. And capital employed is what? Capital employed is, we'll take equity 25, 73,500, 25,000 plus 73,500 plus 510. That's why I said we have to see consolidation का भी कैसा होने वाला है. Okay, and 20,000. We have to not just analyze from parent company, purely from the context of parent company, but we have to analyze from the context of consolidated books of accounts. Okay. So how much is that? 1200 divided by 0.01008 means what? 1.08%. 1.08%. Correct. So just round off to 1%. We can round it off to 1%. So return on capital employed has also reduced. So we have employed more capital this time. Can I say we have employed more capital this time? 20,000 loan also we have taken, correct?
Yeah.
Because we wanted to acquire Howard, and Howard wanted to start a new business, started new hotel. So what we have done, we have put in enough capital, but after putting in enough capital also, we are not able to generate enough profits. Okay, why? We have one of the reason, that initial poor reviews, and they are expecting what? That it will rise further. Also we can give a reason. There is a main reason for operating profits to be low. Apart from exceptional item, there is one more reason operating profit is low. Because of diversification. Okay, Pure company is a farming company, right? And now managing Howard company, it is acquiring Howard company. So Howard company is consolidated with Pure company. So it is like a transitional year for them, correct? It is like a transitional year for both the companies. So sometimes in the transitional year, okay, even if the operating profits are low, shareholders will not mind it. Okay, shareholders will understand that it is a transitional year. So if operating profits are low, they can still accept this return on capital employed. They can accept it. So we will also write that in our analysis, that since this year being the transitional year, the operating profit might be low because of that reason. So shareholders should take that into consideration. We can write that in the analysis part. Oh, and now we have appointed a new manager, right? So feedback has improved significantly. So we'll hope that profit from operations will start to increase in the next year. Okay. So that will do it in the case of ROC. Next one we want inventory turnover period 60 days and receivables collection period. So inventory turnover period 60 days. Inventory turnover period. Here it is 60 days. Calculate what is the inventory turnover period for this one. They are given the inventory as 6,500. And for turnover, what will take?
Cost of sales.
Cost of sales. So 6,500 divided by 46,000. So this will be 6,500 divided by 46,000. But I want in days, right? So multiplied by 365 days. If I wanted in months, I would have multiplied by 12 months.
So we won't take the average inventory here.
Have they given about average inventory?
No, because we have 2 years.
Okay, good. Now pay attention. We cannot do average inventory over here. Why not? Despite we have opening and closing, we cannot do average inventory over here. Why not? Because we have diversified. If we have diversified, if we have acquired the company before, right, then it means again it will have inventory of farming also, and it will have inventory of hotel also. Correct? So we don't want to take average inventory for that. Okay, for consolidated balance sheet, it will be combined inventory. For consolidated balance sheet, we will have a combined inventory. Okay, yes. So we'll take only closing inventory. We'll take only closing inventory. 6,500 by 46,000 into 365. So
suppose it
both
was not diversified, then we'll take normally average.
yes, then we'll take average inventory, opening plus closing divided by 2. Yes, we'll take average inventory. So inventory turnover period has reduced. So it's a good sign, and obviously it should have reduced, right? Because we are shifting our focus from manufacturing industry to hotel industry, right? So we were hoping that sales will be received, sorry, this thing conversion to sales will be faster. Okay, so this is a good sign for the company. This is a good sign for the company. Next, receivable collection period should also have been reduced, because that was the reason for acquisition. So let us see if it is reduced. So previously it was 83 days. 83 days. Okay, now again the same logic, we cannot take average receivables. Okay, we'll take only this year's receivables. Correct? So average receivable, instead of that, we'll take only this year's current year's receivable 17,000 divided by turnover, means here we can take sales. So divided by 94,000, and we want in days, so into 365 into 360. So days have reduced. That's what we wanted. So even though profit margin is reduced, guys, pay attention, overall analysis. Even though profit margin is reduced, but we can see that we are able to achieve the objective of our acquisition. We are able to reduce the receivable collection period, and we can hope that in the future, cash flow generated will be better. Okay, operating costs will start to reduce, and my company can start to have better operating profits in the future. Okay. Done. So the ratios are done. Ratios are done. Let us start with the analysis then. Let us start with the analysis one by one. Yes. First one. So first is what? First is your GP margin. So GP margin has reduced. GP margin has reduced. So what will you write? Tell me the now guys, pay attention. You guys tell me the analysis and think from consolidation point of view also while making the analysis. So number one, not one. Yes, tell me for GP analysis. So GP has reduced from 59% to 51%. To 51%. Tell me the analysis. बताओ कोई तो.
Sir, this is due to increase in cost of sale.
This can be due to increase in cost of sales. Okay, but have the cost of sales increased too much? Yes. As compared to the last year, it is doubled. Revenue has not doubled. Revenue has not doubled, but the cost of sales, they have not doubled actually. Okay, but they have increased in a higher ratio. They have increased in a higher ratio. So due to cost of sales, the GP margin has fallen. Okay. So what can be the reasons for increase in cost of sales? Okay, so we can say GP has reduced as compared to last year, has reduced because the cost of sales has increased. Cost of sales has increased, correct? And also revenue has not increased much. Revenue may increase to hua hai. Revenue has increased, but it has not increased much. Okay, can I say revenue might be affected, okay, due to what reasons? Revenue might be affected due to what reasons? We have these reasons. Now think from farming point of view also, and think from hotel industry point of view also, because this is a consolidated balance sheet.
So this parent company was having problems with the supermarket.
Supermarket, correct, because of the supermarket we might now not be able to achieve the selling price that we wanted. So farming ka revenue might be affected because of that, and hotel ka revenue is affected. Why? Because it has just started a new hotel and it is getting initial reviews, correct? So there will be low customers for the hotel. You can write those. Revenue might be affected in farming sector, because of the pressure of supermarkets. So the company might not be able to influence the selling prices. That can be one reason. Okay, and revenue have also not increased much, might, we can say might, because we don't know the exact figure. Revenue might not have increased in the hotel sector as well, because the new hotel has got poor initial reviews. Okay, however, these reviews have got better during the period, and revenue might increase in the next year. Okay, done. Next. So we are telling the problem, but we are also aware that these report might go to the shareholders. Okay, so we are trying to write from shareholders point of view also, that they should not leave the company. So we are saying that now the reviews have started getting better. Okay, and we can hope that the revenues will increase in the future. Okay, next. Also we can also give the reason of transition. Okay, the cost of sales might have increased. The cost of sales also might have increased due to acquisition of Howard. Okay, and it is not easy to control the cost. In transition period. Correct. I think that is enough for GP ratio. See if this is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next. Now what we have to see, what is the next ratio that we want is your operating profit margin. Operating profit margin, note 2, operating profit margin. Yes, what has happened to the operating profit margin? 8.5 का कितना हो गया? 1.2. Operating margin have been more or even less if you would ignore the exceptional item.
It would have been less.
Correct, because admin cost would have been more. Admin cost is more. We have in here in admin cost, we have included exceptional profit, right? We have included that exceptional profit of 4.5 million. If this was not there, if this 4.5 million was not there, this would have been 30,000. Get you, okay? I would have got a loss from operations instead of profit from operations. So already it is already very low, even after including the exceptional item. The operating profit margin is low. So if we ignore the exceptional item, if we ignore the one-time profit, our operating profit would have gone even further down. It would have gone even further down, and that would be a worrying thing for the company. Okay, and now we have to give the reasons why admin cost has increased so much. Distribution cost has increased, that we have the reason for that. Distribution cost has increased because what? Fuel prices have increased. So due to increase in fuel prices, distribution cost will increase. Okay, but that is not the reason which is affecting my operating profit significantly. That is not the reason which is affecting my operating profit significantly. It is the admin cost which is a problem, which is the problem for my company. Okay, yes, so we'll write it down.
So the marketing campaign.
Correct, marketing campaign. And also pay attention, since we have acquired a new company, and in that Howard has started a new hotel. If we have started a new hotel, means what? We would have appointed new staff for that, plus we have appointed a marketing manager for that. Correct, so that new branch might have hit us in that admin area. Okay, correct, new marketing director can also impact my admin expense. So we can write all those expenses, all those reasons. So first we'll write why the operating profit, what is happening with the operating profit, and what are the reasons behind it. Okay, so operating profit margin, OP margin, has reduced from कितने से कितना हुआ रे, बताओ जरा.
8.5% to 1.01%.
8.5% to 1.01%. Okay, 1.01%. Okay, so it has reduced significantly. It has reduced significantly. Okay, while calculating 1.1%, while calculating the 1.01%, okay, we have taken into consideration the exceptional item, which is the profit. In bracket we will write profit on disposal or gain on disposal, profit on disposal. Correct, we have taken into consideration the exceptional item. If this profit were to be ignored, what will happen? The operating profit would have been even lower. Operating profit would have been even lower. Okay, oh, ROC is 1.01, operating profit is 1.28. Okay, operating profit is 1.28%. 1.28%. Okay. So now we can write the reason. The reasons for lower operating profit. Lower operating profit is number one, higher distribution cost. Higher distribution cost due to increase in fuel price. They have given the reason, due to increasing the fuel prices. That is one reason. Fuel prices, that is one reason. And what is the second reason? Due to higher administration cost. Higher administration cost as admin expenses. Okay. The admin expenses can be higher because of many reasons. Admin expenses can be higher because of many reasons. Okay. Howard has started a new branch. Howard has started a new branch. Okay. So it will employ more staff as it is in service industry. It is in service industry. Service industry को production cost नहीं रहता है. There is the production cost is not as high as manufacturing industry, but the admin cost is always higher in service industry. Okay. So Howard has started a new branch. So it employs more staff as it is in service industry. That is one reason. Howard has also employed कौन सा मैनेजर बोला उन लोगों ने? Marketing, have employed a marketing director and also carried out marketing campaign. Okay. Have employed a marketing director and also carried out a marketing campaign. So should we put marketing campaign in distribution cost or should we put marketing campaign in admin cost?
Sir, admin cost.
Admin cost, because for hotel industry we can put it in admin cost, no problem. We can put it under admin cost. Okay. So that is the reason for my operating cost to increase, and because of that, what has happened? Because of that, my operating profit has started to reduce. Okay. Next. So we have also written about the this thing, one-off item. We have also written about the one-off item. New opening of third hotel can also increase admin cost, right? Apart from recruitment. Yeah, that's what we written now. So because of opening of new hotel, it has increased my in general admin cost has increased. The in general admin cost has increased. Okay. Yes. Okay, next. Next is your return on capital employed. Note 3. Return on capital employed has also gone down, has also decreased from कितने का कितना हो गया?
So 1.1% and
1.01% from
7.40%.
7.40%. Okay, so it has become 1.01% from 7.40%. Okay, now again, two elements affect return on capital employed. Two elements affect the return on capital employed. First is the profit margin, जिसका हम लोग ने ऊपर explanation दे दिया है. So we'll not give that explanation again. Profit margin. Okay, and second is your assets employed. Okay, so we can tell that profit margin, the reduction is profit margin, the reduction in profit margin, in bracket you can write down as discussed above, okay, has reduced reduced the company's profits, company's returns, okay. And has capital employed increased than last year?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Why? Because we have taken loan also and we have issued new shares also. Okay. Because in point number 3, what they have said, the Pure Group raised finance for the acquisition from a number of sources. So we can see the number of sources, right? 20,000 is new, and last year your equity share capital was 6,000, and this year equity share capital is 25,000. Means what? There is issue of new share capital. So we have not only issued new loan, we have not only taken new loan, but we have also issued new share capital. Okay. So write down. The assets employed have increased in the current year since Pure company has raised finance through different types of sources. Okay. As we can see, equity share capital has increased from 6,000 to 25,000, 6,000 to 25,000. Okay. And company has also taken a loan of 20,000. This is all in thousands of dollars. Huh? Okay. And we can also see 510 non-controlling interest is there, right? 510 non-controlling interest is there. So we can write that also. 510 relates to non-controlling interest, NCI. But then you guys will say, that's what, na? NCI share we are writing over here. But you guys will say, Pure company has other subsidiaries also, na? So this NCI can be of other subsidiaries also? Yes or no? Pure
No, sir.
First, no, why not?
Because rest all is 100%.
Rest of the subsidiaries are 100% subsidiary. So we can clearly say that the NCI that appears in the balance sheet is only related to Howard company, because Howard is the only company which is 80% acquired. So we can write that as well. Relates to NCI. Pure company has many subsidiaries. Okay. But all the other subsidiaries are 100% owned. Okay. Only Howard is 80% owned. 80% owned. Okay. So the NCI relates only for acquisition of Howard. So next doubt is, can we say even though the assets employed is increased, the revenue is less, not making efficient use of assets employed? No, see here pay attention. Huh? We cannot see that we cannot say that the company has not efficiently used asset employed. It has efficiently used, but what is the problem? They are not able to make enough profits. Because of what? Because of those poor initial reviews, because of competition from supermarkets. Correct. So it is not the fact that assets have not been employed, and majority of the asset employed is because of what? Acquisition of Howard. Majority of asset employed is for the purpose of acquisition of Howard company. Okay. So it will not be correct to say that company is not efficiently using asset employed. Okay. Understood? Okay. Yeah. So see, in the last problem, we could clearly say that company is not efficiently using the assets employed because there was no new acquisition for that, right? There was no new acquisition in that. Here we have newly acquired a company. So in transition period, it is very difficult to say whether assets are employed efficiently or not. So don't make that comment for assets employed. Okay. Next. So we can say the assets are majoritarily employed for acquisition of Howard. We can say that, correct? The assets are majoritarily employed for acquisition of Howard and not for making the operating profits. We can say that way. Okay. So the company has employed the assets, employed the capital, I'll say, employed the capital for acquisition purpose, okay, and lesser capital is for the purpose of operation. Lesser capital is utilized for the purpose of operations. So if you want to make the comment of utilization of capital, this will be a better comment of operations. Okay. Yes. Okay, but see, in return on capital employed, we will have to make that for operating profit and return on capital employed. We will have to make that note. Okay. So now a combined note for profitability. A combined note for profitability we can make that as far as the profitability of the company goes, we can say in the current year, the company is a loss-making company, right? Because if we ignore the exceptional item, we can say that company is a loss-making company. Write that in the bracket. Okay. If we ignore the exceptional item, if we ignore the one-off item, okay, because in analysis generally we ignore the one-off item, correct? So here also, after ignoring the one-off item, we can say that as far as the profitability of the company goes, that company is a loss-making company. And also, yes, also we can see that in your NCI being negative, non-controlling interest is negative, correct? So we can write that also. Even the non-controlling interest, even the NCI in the consolidated SOPL is negative. Okay, which can mean two things, okay, which can mean either of the two things. Number one, Howard is a loss-making company, okay, and Pure has acquired a loss-making company, that can be one reason. Okay, or the second reason might be that only after acquisition, okay, Howard has incurred huge losses, okay, and that's why NCI is negative. Okay, and we'll also make a comment that the second possibility looks more better, because since Howard has started a new hotel in the first year of operations, okay, it might have incurred major losses. Okay, we can make that observation also. Okay, the second possibility looks, what we'll say, seems more correct. Okay, since Howard has opened a new hotel, and there can be losses due to that. Okay, so we have talked about the NCI as well. So from profit and loss, everything we have covered. From the P&L account, we have covered everything, right? Now let us focus on analyzing the balance sheet. We have the turnover ratios, we have the cash flow. Okay, so let us analyze from that point of view. No doubt till profitability. Okay, so we have covered this also. This non-controlling interest of 800 negative also we have covered over here. Okay. So now we'll comment on the considered SOFP. Considered SOFP. Let us talk about the turnover ratio, or let us talk about the cash flows first. Okay, we can talk about the cash flow first because cash flow has reduced from 6,000 to 600. Okay, we can talk about the cash flows. Cash flow position. Cash flow position of the company has become adverse as compared to the last year, okay, since it has gone down to 610 from 6,000 right? What can be the reason? Again, the same reason. Major reason can be for acquisition of Howard. Okay, one of the reason can be acquisition of Howard. Right? And another reason is what? The company was having problems with the extended payment terms. The company was having problems with the extended payment terms, correct? However, this problem will not continue to exist. This problem will not continue to exist. Why? Because it will be offset, because it will be nullified. It will be nullified with the lower receivable collection period due to diversifying into the service industry. So we talked about the receivable collection period also, and we have talked about the cash flow position also. Okay, here we can see, as we can see, the receivable collection period has decreased from what to what? 83 days to 66 days, from 83 days to 66 days. Okay, so we have spoken about the receivable collection period as well while talking about the cash flow. Okay, now for cash flow position only we can talk about inventory. We can also see that the inventory turnover period has reduced from what to what?
Sir, 60 days, no, from
60 days to 51 days, correct?
Yeah.
We can also see that ITP has reduced from 60 days to 50, let us say 52 days. Okay, let us round off to 52 days. Okay, so the inventory can be considered to be fast moving as compared to earlier year. Okay, and also due to the fact that Howard being in service industry, उनका इन्वेंट्री नहीं रहेगा ना सर्विस इंडस्ट्री, it will carry very less inventory. Okay, बिकॉज सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में हम लोग सर्फ ज्यादा करते हैं एंड मैन्युफैक्चर कम करते हैं. Our focus will be more on service and less on manufacture, right? And also due to the fact that Howard being in service industry, it will carry very less inventory. Done. So we have discussed about all of these now. We have discussed about all of these. So we can give a summarized analysis. We can give a summarized analysis. Okay. What is the in general analysis, guys? What do you think?
So the acquisition of the service company has like decreased
Affected the profitability. Correct. Correct.
profitability.
Yeah. Okay. And we can say that it might improve in the future since efforts are being taken. Okay.
Yes.
And also we can see that cash flow position will also get better with the receivable collection period and inventory turnover period. That's it. Okay. Right on then. Do it that you guys do it on your own. Summarized analysis, you guys do it on your own. And also write about the transitional year, since it is a transitional year. Okay. So 3 points you can say that profitability has reduced due to acquisition. Okay. But it will get better. Right. Second is cash flow position is not favorable right now. So you guys mention this in detail. Not favorable right now. Not favorable as of now. But from our period, that is your receivable collection period and inventory turnover period, we can say it will get better. Okay. And since the companies are in transitional period, okay, the control over operations is not quite good. That's why so much costs have increased, right? Is not quite good, but that is also expected to get better with the learning curve. Learning curve मतलब जितना ज़्यादा तुम लोग काम करोगे, the more you work in the industry, the better you get with the control. Is also expected to get better with the learning curve. Done. So I think now you guys know how to do the analysis and what exactly ACC is expecting with the analysis. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think that these two problems will be enough. Now you can start looking at questions from exam kit, okay, to do the analysis. So single analysis is also required and consolidated analysis is also required. So today is what, Wednesday, no?
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow and day after, Sarvesh sir will be taking the lecture. So we'll take the next lecture on Saturday, and then we can solve exam kit problems on consolidation. We'll get back to our consolidation. Okay. Meanwhile, you guys also start working on interpretation of financial statements, exam kit problems. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so the doubt is, should we have a watch over our grammatical mistakes while writing the answers? Not needed, unless it's totally not understandable. Okay, then you will have a problem. Okay, but a little bit grammatical mistake here and there is okay. Okay, that is acceptable in ACCA for this subject, not for audit. Audit is a theoretical subject. Okay, so here in analysis, a little bit here and there spelling mistake, little bit grammatical mistake is acceptable. They are not looking at your English, they are looking at your analysis. Okay, and try to use layman terms. Okay, it is always better if you make the analysis in the layman terms. Okay, because even auditors, okay, even when we write analysis in the annual general meeting, okay, for the annual general meeting, we try to simplify it as much as possible. Okay, because the report will be to the management, report will be to the shareholders. Okay, both of them might not understand the financial terms as good as you guys as ACCA, you guys as chartered accountants understand it. Okay, yes. Okay, next doubt is there constraint in the number of words while answering, because these type of question is quite time consuming. There is no constraint. Okay, there is no constraint in answering. See, here I am giving a very detailed analysis because I'm assuming this is a 20 marks question, right? I'm assuming this to be a 20 marks question. That's why I'm writing such a detailed analysis. But if you get only 10 marks question, if you get the ratio analysis for only 10 marks question, you don't need to write such a detailed analysis, right? Okay, then depending upon the marks, you will decide how much analysis to write. Okay, next is on Saturday, are we solving type C consolidation question? Yes. So do you guys want to solve type A questions also, or you are already done with that? Section A questions, are you guys already done with it?
So we're doing
Question.
mostly, we're done mostly the section C questions.
So should I take section A questions as well?
So you can do that.
Okay, so one day I can give for section A questions, okay, and B and C. B तो वैसे भी दोनों का combination ही है, so I'll not waste time on that. And section C questions we'll do for 2 or 3 days. Okay, so we'll focus on A and C. But you guys also look into section B type questions, huh? You guys also look into section B type questions because of time constraint. Okay, it will be similar to section C wala question, but you will not have enough time for that. Okay, yes. Okay then, and also whatever doubts in your this thing are there, exam kit questions, keep asking those doubts. Okay, and if I tend to forget to answer your doubt, then please ask again. Okay, I'll try to answer all the doubts, but if I somehow forget to answer your doubt, please ask again, no problem, or at least remind me again. Okay, so that's it for the day. I'll end the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.